Your team is truly the backbone of your organization, and each of your team members' enthusiasm and dedication contribute to the overall performance and success of your group. But what is it that really can help your team get to the point where they can move mountains, so to speak? The key is motivation, and a properly motivated team is going to strive for excellence and reach their goals together as one. But you may be wondering, why is it so important for me to keep my team motivated? Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Barika from Simply Unique Coaching, and I have been leading for over 15 years. I've led way more than 18 teams as well during that time. And I get different questions from leaders from time to time. And one of the ones that I see that a lot of leaders need help with is how to motivate their team members. Okay. So we're going to talk about that in this video. Also, we're going to talk about the danger of what can happen if there is a lack of motivation on a team. And at the end of the video, I will share with you some of the strategies that you can use to help inspire and energize your team. So why does team motivation matter? Definitely, it helps to increase productivity. A happy team, a team that feels like they are working towards a goal, they're going to be way more motivated, and you're going to have a lot less work to do as a leader as far as following behind people and trying to get them to do things. If they're actually motivated to do them, that means that you won't have to go behind them and try to push them, like we're not physically pushing them, let me share that. But like you're not behind them like, okay, you can do it and this and that. You're like, they're motivated. They have that intrinsic motivation. And that's really, really, really what we want to have built in for our team members. Also, we're going to get a better quality of work from team members that are motivated to do the work. So we want them to have some kind of buy-in. We want them to feel as though they are a part of the organization. They are a part of the group. And when they feel that way, they're going to be very, very, very highly motivated to help produce quality work and to take pride in their work. One of my favorites is it helps to create a positive work environment. And to me, that is a big deal because we spend so much time at work. So we want our team members to be motivated and happy to be there. And heck, we want to be happy to be there too, right? We don't want to just be there like, oh my gosh, looking at the clock. I don't have a watch on. But if I did, woo, when is it time to, yeah, oh no, I got, it's like, oh, when did I get to go home? And it's like, you only been here 5 minutes. We don't want that, right? Also, when people are motivated to do work, there's going to be a proclivity towards innovation and encouraging an environment of innovation. So people who are motivated are going to come up with ideas and they're going to want to share their ideas and they're going to want to collaborate with their team members and with their leadership in order to bring about ways to do things quicker, faster, and better. Also, motivated team members tend to like to stay with the areas that they are in my opinion, unless they have developed and matured out of that. Otherwise, they tend to be very, very happy with where they are. And even if they mature out of that particular position, they may move into a different part of the organization or they may become a leader themselves. And that's great. And actually, as a leader, you want to see your people growing. You don't want to see your people stagnant. And so healthy leadership does not try to hold people down. It does not try to hold people back. It knows and understands that people are going to grow. We want them to grow. We want them to get better. And that is going to create a healthy environment. So let's talk about what are some of the challenges that come to motivating teams. So recognizing that individuals have different needs, like trying to put everyone in a box, everyone is not the same. So the way I can motivate Susie Q is not the same way I can motivate Don Juan DeMarco. I don't even know if that's a person, but you know what I mean? So I need to figure out what Don Juan likes and I need to know what Susie Q likes. And I need to meet them where they are. Don't try to treat them all the same because that's not it. That is not it. All right. Also, we want to treat motivation as an ongoing thing. Like we want to pay attention to how motivated our team members are. This is not necessarily something we're going to share with them, but as a leader, kind of put it on your leadership report card. Okay, how motivated is my team to do the work? Are the majority of my team members motivated or are they unmotivated? If they're unmotivated, then there's a problem there. There's a problem. So there needs to be a deep dive root cause analysis as to why people are unmotivated, and sometimes if it's something that is out of your control, it can just take a listening ear and just saying, okay, let's talk about it. Yeah, I know. I know that this is the situation. I'm so sorry. I wish I could change it. If I could change it, I would change it, but that's, kind of what it is. And I can listen to your concerns and stuff like that. I can pass them along to the appropriate parties when it's appropriate to do so. But, there's some things as leaders we can't change. And some things we know are ridiculous. We're like, why did they implement that rule? That makes no sense. But we have to implement it because that's our responsibility as leaders. So in those situations, sometimes, our team members can get upset. And for me, I'll say, you know what? I completely understand where you're coming from, and I'll hear them out And then I'll say, thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate it. And, that's just kind of where things are right now. But I do appreciate the fact that you felt like you could come and talk to me about it. And with that, people feel heard and that motivates them because they're like, okay, it couldn't be changed, but at least they heard me. They heard my concerns and I voiced my concerns and I was heard. And that is a powerful motivator in and of itself as well. Another challenge to motivating team members is aligning goals. Because again, if your organization, I said this in one of the last videos, if your organization is going in a certain direction, let's say your organization is headed north and your team member wants to go southeast, north is here, right? Southeast is, I think, this way. Like y'all are not aligned. And that's going to be a very difficult time. And in situations like those, honestly, I help that person get to their happy place because if you want to go in a totally different direction than this organization, this is not a good fit. So let me help you get to where you need to be. And then I backfill that position with somebody who wants to actually be there. And everybody's happy. They're happy because they get to their happy place where they want to be. They want to go southwest. Okay, cool. Let me help you get southwest. Let me help you get to where you need to go. And then let me find somebody else to put in this position who wants to go north as well. So that's kind of the way that I look at that. So now we're going to talk about different strategies we can use to motivate our team members. But before we do that, let me ask you, what advice would you give to a leader to help them motivate their team members? What would you share with other leaders? Because other leaders do watch these videos. And so I want you to make sure that you put something down there that's going to be helpful because you never know, you may change the life of a leader. And when we change the lives of leaders, that changes the lives of their team members for the positive. And that just has a whole butterfly ripple effect. And I think that that's an awesome and amazing thing. I love what I do because I know that in making these videos and sharing the tips and strategies that I have, that it's actually having a ripple effect and having a positive impact on lots of lives. So that makes me happy. So let's talk about strategies for motivating your team. We want to set clear goals. We want to make sure that they are clear, that they are achievable, and that they give our team members a sense of purpose. We also want to make sure that we provide recognition and acknowledge and celebrate achievements, no matter how small. And I will say this, find out how your team members like to be celebrated because everyone's not the same. So ask them. Also, we want to give them opportunities for growth and we want to encourage professional development and career advancement. And I talked about that earlier. We want to create a supportive environment. We want to make sure that there is a culture of trust and support where team members feel comfortable taking risks. I also talked about that, about, hearing them out. We want to just make sure that they know we're in their corner. We don't ever want to be in a situation where it's us against them. And I have literally worked for organizations where it was us against them. And that is a very dysfunctional team. That is a very unhealthy team dynamic. And that is a toxic work environment. Period, point blank. Can't convince me otherwise. Now, if you think you can, put it in the comments. But otherwise, the most toxic organizations I worked for, there was a polarization between the leadership and the team members. Also, we want to have effective communication. We want to make sure that we have open lines of communication and that we provide feedback regularly. And sometimes people hear feedback and they think, oh, feedback moves off something bad. No, if you're giving feedback, feedback is positive and negative, right? And so for me, it's like feedback includes telling you all of the awesome things that you're doing and providing constructive criticism when it's necessary, okay? So it encompasses both of them for me. And then I want my team members to get to the point where they're used to getting both of those from me. Because when it's time to do a correction, I don't want it to be like a hard punch to the gut or sucker punch or something. I don't know what you would call it, but I don't want it to rock their world, so to speak, when I have to tell them like, hey, I need you to do this, or hey, I noticed this situation and we need to work out a plan to make sure that we get you moving in the right direction. And the thing that I do is I like to try to pour so many positives anytime they're doing something that's great. That's great. I make sure that I mention that so that whenever I also need to come back and say, hey, this didn't really work out that well, or whenever I have to provide some constructive criticism, they don't take it like, oh my gosh, she's picking on me. It's like, no, we have a relationship. And so in our working relationship, I've been sharing with you all the good so that when I have to tell you something that's not so awesome, it shouldn't be a hard blow. Okay. Because we have a relationship now. We have a solid relationship. And even if they have to take some time to process it and come back to me later, that's fine, depending on the severity of the constructive feedback that needs to be provided. And also my favorite is I just love to keep a pulse on the team. I love getting to know my employees and I love adjusting to their needs. Like I provide them with employee survey, especially when they start off. I actually have one included inside of the 90-day leadership bootcamp where it's an employee survey. So anybody who's new that comes onto the team, they can complete that and let me know about them. And then that way I can say, okay, now I know how to motivate them. I know what I need to know about them. And then I know how to build a relationship with them. And then I also share things about me. So it's not one sided. And then that way they know a little bit about me. We basically both learn things about each other that help us work together better. So if you also find that you have one team member that's negative or just maybe a couple of negative employees on your team, I actually would have two different strategies for those situations. But if it's just like one employee or just a small number of employees, I want you to watch this video next on 6 ways on how to motivate a negative employee.